day everyone, this is Sir Jerson and welcome to another video for the subject Reading and Writing Skills with the topic Determining Textual Evidence. Good day everyone, this is Sir Jerson and welcome to another video for subject Reading and Writing Skills with the topic Determining Textual Evidence. Before we start our topic, let us have a short prayer. Please pray with me. Dear Lord and Father of all, thank you for today. Thank you for ways in which you provide for us all. For your protection and love, we thank you. Help us to focus our hearts and minds now on what we are about to learn. Inspire us by your Holy Spirit as we listen and write. Guide us by your eternal light as we discover more about the world around us. We ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Hello everyone, this is Sir Jerson. Welcome to our class. We are in a new normal right now, so even though we are going to discuss our lessons virtually, let us be reminded of the safety protocols for new normal. Ask this question to yourselves and answer. This video lesson in the subject Reading and Writing Skills with the topic Determining Textual Evidence is especially intended for senior high school grade 11 students of Ciriaco A. Abes Memorial National High School. Before we start our class, let us have a short review of what we discussed in our previous lesson. Here is the direction for our first activity. You are to read and analyze the questions and choose the correct answer from the given options. Here is question number 1. What is the statement that can be proven objectively by direct experience, testimonies of witnesses, verified observations, or the results of a research? What do you think is the answer? The answer is fact. You are right. Number 2. What is a way in which something is done similar to traditions and norms? What do you think is the answer? And the answer is convention. You are right. Number 3. What is the statement based on facts but is difficult to objectively verify because of the uncertainty of producing satisfactory proofs of soundness? What do you think is the answer? And the answer is opinion. That is right. Number 4. What states a personal choice in which the writer is under no obligation to support or prove the truthfulness of the statement? What do you think is the answer? The answer is preference. You are correct. Did you get all that answers correct? Well then, very good for you because we are only beginning with our lesson. Let's move on to our topic for today. Our topic for today is about determining textual evidence, that is Quarter 4, Module 7 of the subject Reading and Writing Skills. Before we start, here are our objectives. our new topic, let us have another game or another activity entitled Guess Who. Here are the directions. Try to guess the occupation of the person being referred to in the following statements by using the given details. Number 1. People come to me and ask for my prescription. I use a stethoscope to hear heartbeats and other sounds inside the body. Who am I? I will give you 3 seconds in 3, 2, and 1. The answer is Doctor, you're right. Next one. People call me whenever their tires are flat. I check their vehicle's radiator and engine so they can travel safely. Who am I? Again, you have 3 seconds in 3, 2, 1. And the answer is a mechanic. You're right. I hope you got that one right. Next one. I use a harrow and a tiller to cultivate soil. Many depend on my harvest for food to eat and to live a healthy life. Who am I? And the answer is a farmer, of course. Next one. I love to read books and play with children. I teach them how to read and write inside the school. Who am I? The answer is a teacher. Yes. And the last one. I make houses, buildings, and bridges. I use different protractors and compass sets and I calculate things accurately. Who am I? And the answer is an architect. You are right. Congratulations! I hope you got all the answers correctly. That activity is very related to our topic for today, which is textual evidence. You were able to get the answers because of the evidence that you can gather from the description of that certain occupation. Now, let us discuss what is textual evidence. Textual evidence is defined as the details given by the author in order to support his or her claims. It reveals the position of the writer and makes the reading more interesting. Evidences are details that strengthen, add variety, or weight to any argument. So, we are going to have another activity for us to further understand what textual evidence means. So, here is our activity 3. We are going to read. Let me read to you a short poem by Langston Hughes entitled Harlem. You listen and understand each word and the meaning of the poem. Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat or crust in sugar over like syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? The poem is short and it is very easy to understand, but let us try to relate it to our topic by answering these questions. Here is our activity 4. Number 1. What does the word deferred mean? Now, in our previous lessons, I discussed or I told you that Whenever you come across an unfamiliar word, you are to look it up in the dictionary. So you may do that right now for you to understand the word deferred, or if you do not know the word deferred, you may use your cell phone, or if you have a dictionary in there, you may use it. Okay? So what does the word deferred mean? Yan. In Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word deferred is an adjective which means withheld for or until a stated time. It means it is also synonymous to late, delayed, and postponed. So in a sentence, if you're going to use it for you to understand it very easily, what happens to a dream when it is postponed? Question number 2. How is a dream compared to a raisin, a rotten meat, and a heavy load? So I highlighted those words for you to easily understand. So this could be also a way when you are learning for a certain literary piece. You ask certain questions for you to easily understand the meaning of it. How is the dream compared to raisin, rotten meat, and heavy load? So raisin, dry up. Also in the poem, you can see that in there. Rotten meat, stink, and heavy load, sags. If you do not know the meaning of these words, you may pause this video and look it up in the dictionary. So that's the answer. I hope you can catch along with our discussion. Number 3. Based on the poem, what happens when you don't go after your dreams and you defer from them at a later time? What happens? According to the poem by Langston Hughes entitled Harlem, it dries up, fester, stink, crust and sugar, sags and explode. So I think some of the meanings in this are negative. Do you agree? So if you're going to look at it, it's a poem that states sadness because you deferred from your dreams. Okay, number 4. You are to answer this on your own. Even though I'm not going to give you a definite answer, you have to answer this on your own. Okay, if you were the author, how would you feel upon writing the poem? Based from what I've discussed or what we see in the poem, the lines in the poem, what would you feel? Huh? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you depressed? Are you stressed? Is it okay for you, or you don't care? Do you have a dream? Do you ask those kind of questions to yourselves? Next. Do you agree with the author's idea that a dream deferred stinks like a rotten meat, and why? What happens to something that is deferred, postponed, or forgotten? If it's a meat, then it would definitely stink and rotten if you're not going to do something about it. Do you agree with the author about this one, this statement? That statement or question will be answered by you on your own. So that is based on your realization of the poem. What is the lesson of the poem? Whenever you try to read something, literary text, you try to relate it to a certain lesson. What is the lesson? What is the point of understanding this? See? Don't postpone your dreams. Work for it. When you were in elementary grades, your teachers always asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Then realizing right now, is that the same thing you wanted to be? Because some changes come along as you grow up. But the greater question is, do you work for it for you to achieve those dreams, or your dream is deferred? Just like the dream that is referred to in this poem. Try to think about that. You work for your dreams as always. So let's go back to our lesson and relate this one to this. Here is a sample essay about the poem highlighting textual evidence for us to easily understand, because as you can see, we are able to relate and understand more the poem because of the texts that are in it. Let me read this one to you. Harlem by Langston Hughes gives me a feeling of or mood of anger and depression. It feels like the idea of preferring dreams is hurtful and maybe even causes one to become resentful before eventually being overcome by anger. I know this because the poem uses the words fester like a sore, which gives me a feeling of pain. Further, describing deferred dreams as if they stink like rotten meat is an unpleasant image, giving me the feeling of resentment. Finally, when the poem ended with "or does it explode," makes me think of a person who boils over anger. See, what we can realize in this essay, when you are giving the evidence or the textual evidence or explaining something, you get certain points from what you have read. Textual evidence, the evidence from the text. Because if you have a claim, you will be able to strengthen that claim by giving the evidence from a certain text or a certain research that you've made for it to be believable and reliable. Discuss more about the textual evidence. We actually have different ways of presenting textual evidence. So we have 4: paraphrasing, summarizing, referencing, and quoting. These are very familiar to you since you've discussed this in your previous years when you were studying English as well. So we are going to discuss this one by one. Number 1, paraphrasing. So as you can remember, when you are paraphrasing, there are words or you are describing something in your own words based on what you read or what you have understood in a certain lesson or a text. So in here, in paraphrasing, let me read to you the example. Number 1, in poem Harlem, the author claimed that a person may feel disappointed when dream deferred, or he questioned the reader's feeling about withholding dreams. So the highlighted part is he questioned the reader's feeling about withholding dreams is actually explaining about the text that is in the poem, which directly stated as what happens to a dream deferred. So he used paraphrasing in that part. Okay, next one. The next one is summarizing. So remember, when you are summarizing, you have read or watched a certain movie or story, and then you are giving the summary of it, the brief description of it. Okay? So let me read this one to you. The movie 7 Sundays in 2017 is a heartwarming story and shows the importance of family in our lives. The movie tells about the Bonifacio siblings who were reunited because of their father who was mistakenly diagnosed with cancer. It presented different struggles for their lives and how they were able to overcome them. So, you will be able to get the story of that if you watch the movie 7 Sundays. It is a very good story too if you watched. And this is very well summarized, because you were able to get what the story is all about just by short few sentences that was given by the author. Number 3 is referencing. So you remember, when you are referencing, you give the reference or where you get the information from, just like in this example. Let me read this to you. The Department of Education ensures the delivery of quality education and safety of the learners in the opening of classes for this school year amidst COVID-19, as stated in DepEd Order Number 7 Series of 2020 on DepEd School Calendar and Activities for School Year 2020-2021, Paragraph 2 and 3. And lastly, quoting. In quoting, you are getting the exact word of the author and you are writing it on your essay or you are referencing it. Okay? Just like in this example, Langston Hughes described deferred dreams as if they stink like rotten meat in his poem, which suggests an unpleasant image, giving me the feeling of resentment. He also ends the poem with the line, "Or does it explode?" that made me think of a person who boils over in anger. So remember, when you are quoting, you use the word for word uh, of the author, and that is what you are going to use when you are using it as a textual evidence. Okay, I hope you got that for. So again, we have 4 ways of presenting textual evidence. Number 1 is paraphrasing, summarizing, referencing, and quoting. Now we are going to have another activity for us to practice your knowledge about the discussion that we've made. Let's have another activity. Okay, so in this activity, you are going to express your claims or counterclaims about the given topics and paragraphs and determine the textual evidence. If you can still remember, we discussed in our previous lesson the claims and counterclaims, and now you are going to use the textual evidence with it. Okay, here are the instructions for this group activity. So number 1, the class is grouped according to their respective barangays, just like in our previous video. Number 2, different activities are assigned to each group. And then you're going to scan the QR code to access the activity and answer on prepared Google form quiz, so that you will easily access my quiz. Or if that's not possible, you send picture of your answer to the teacher's account. So you have my messenger account, you can send your activity, but you should be quick because on the note, you will be given only 5 minutes to accomplish this task. This is actually very easy because you're just going to get the claims or counterclaims that you have and give your proof or the textual evidence that you can see on the text, or if that is given on the activity. Okay, let's move on. Here are the groupings for our activity. So again, in grouping, we have 4 groups: Barangay Mahal na Pangalan, number 1, Barangay Balite, number 2, Barangay Patsoka and Pambisan, number 3, Barangay Wawa and the other not mentioned barangay. If you are from there, you will be in group 4. Now remember, even though this is grouping, you are going to answer this individually because you are going to write your name, your email address, and then you're going to answer individually on the QR code. And if that's not possible, you are going to write it on your paper, take a picture of it, and send it to me immediately. Okay, let's start. For Barangay Mahal na Pangalan, you are going to express your claim or counterclaim on the topic about Black Lives Matter and explain your answer. So you may scan this QR code right here. Okay, scan that so that you will be able to get the link from my Google quiz. If that's not possible, you are going to write on your paper Black Lives Matter. I know you know that topic. It's very known. Okay, very familiar to you. And then you're going to write your claim or counterclaim, and then you explain your answer. You can give at least 3 explanations or 3 sentences as explanation for your claim or your counterclaim. Do you agree with Black Lives Matter, or you don't agree with Black Lives Matter? Okay, that's for Barangay Mahal na Pangalan. I hope you got that already. Okay, let's move on to the next group. Now, for Barangay Balite, just like the activity for Barangay Mahal na Pangalan, you are going to express your claim or counterclaim on the topic about effect of pandemic to climate change and explain your answer. So you may scan this QR code right here to get my link, or if that is not possible, you write your answer on the paper, and then you send it to me 5 minutes after 5 minutes. Okay, are you done? Let's move on to another group. Here, for Barangay Patsoka and Pambisan, this is a different type of activity. Identify the assertion made by the author and the textual evidence used to strengthen his argument. You may scan this QR code, scan it right here. In this activity, I'll be giving you a text and then you're going to identify the assertion made by the author. And then you are going to write the textual evidence from the text that was in there. So, unlike Barangay Pambisan, the previous groups, you are going to get the answer from the text. And for them, they are going to formulate their own answers. Are you done scanning? Here is the activity. Okay, here is your paragraph. For those who cannot access the link, you may have a screenshot of this so that you will be able to answer if I skip this part right here for the other group to get their answers. Okay, have a screenshot now. Are you done? After having a screenshot, you write your answers on your paper and then you send it to me on my messenger account. Personal, not on our GC, okay? I will be waiting for it after 5 minutes when I say time's up. Okay? Are you done? Next group. And for the last group, just like the activity for Barangay Pambisan, identify assertion made by the author and the textual evidence used to strengthen his argument. Scan this QR code right here and then you will be able to access my link. And then after this slide, I will be giving you the paragraph that you will be getting for those who will not be able to access my link. Have a screenshot of that and then you will be able to answer using your phones and write your answers on your paper. Have a picture of it and send it to my messenger account. Okay, I hope you're done scanning. Here's the paragraph. Okay, have a screenshot for those who cannot access my link. I have a screenshot of this. I have explained it already to you. Are you done? Okay. I will be giving you 5 minutes for this one. So, good luck, everyone. For groups, let's start. Your timer starts now for 5 minutes. Go. Okay, time's up. Now for this activity, which is a grouping, we are going to check your answers. If you got, again, this activity, you are going to express your claims or counterclaims about the given topics or paragraph and determine the textual evidence as we discussed. Okay, let's check. Okay, but there's a difference in checking your activity. Since the activity required for groups 1 and 2 to answer are based on personal claims and assertion, I will check your answers one by one and send to you the feedback through the email you used to access the Google form. Okay? Or if not, I will be sending to you the answers from the Messenger account for those who were not able to access my link. Okay? So that is for groups 1 and 2 because it's your answers may vary in that part. But remember, if you have a given claim or a counterclaim and you've given at least 3 evidence about your claim, your answers are correct. But I will be still assessing that. Okay? Next. Here for Barangay Patsoka and Pambisan, since their activity is objective, we have given them a paragraph and then they're going to get the answers from the paragraph itself. Here is your answer. So the assertion, kindly check. If this is your answer, then that might be correct. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, for the last one, for Barangay Wawa and the other barangays that are not mentioned. So here are your answers. So remember, if you've given the assertion and then the textual evidence, and the textual evidence you've chosen one from the 4 that we discussed, the 4 ways of presenting your evidence, it could be okay. Okay, so if it's close to this, then that's right. But still, your answers may vary as well. Okay, congratulations. Okay, what have you learned from our lesson for today? This is another activity. Okay, so to generalize what we've discussed today, again, we have discussed about textual evidence and we got 4 ways of presenting textual evidence. Number 1 is paraphrasing. Number 2, summarizing. Number 3, referencing. And 4, quoting. Any of those that you can use when you are presenting textual evidence with your claims or counterclaims or assertion, that is correct. Okay? Let's try to value our lesson for today because we are not just discussing this for the sake of grades, but we are actually learning it because there's a lesson behind it. What's the lesson in this topic? For you, what is the importance of textual evidence in your life? How can you relate this to our day-to-day? You may relate these words, facts, look back, and think. To help you answer that question, you may refer to this one. See, don't jump to conclusions easily. We need to find proof about what we think. If we think and we believe what we think, it could be a claim. It could be a claim. It's your assertion, a counterclaim. Okay? But we do not jump to conclusions because what we need is proof or what we need is evidence. So if you think it's you heard something from your neighbor, gossip or anything, you don't believe it easily. I'm not saying it's not true or it's true, but you have to prove whether it's true or not based from the evidence or proof that you're going to get. Okay, so that is one of the lessons that you can get from our topic for today. I hope you were able to realize that as well and value your lesson for today. Now, let's test your knowledge about the topic that we have discussed, Activity 7. Okay, this will be individually. Now, for your assessment, you may access the quiz by clicking or scanning this link right here, and then you will be directed to my Google form quiz. Answer that. But if you were not able, I will be giving you the slides, or the next slides will be for you. Please, for those who will not be able to access my link for the quiz, prepare your pen and pencil because you have to answer very quickly. I will be moving per slide but slowly so that you will be able to read and analyze the quiz. But I will not be returning the slide. So you have to answer, and after the quiz, right after the quiz, you will take a picture of your answer and then send it to me. Okay? Ready your pencil and paper. Are you done? And let's go. Okay, so now let's check your answers. I will be posting on the next slide the answer key for your assessment. Okay? Okay, so now for you to practice more about the topic that we discussed today, here is an additional activity. So this will be just an extension. Please do it. And please be guided by the rubric that will follow after the activity so that you'll be guided for how I will be grading your additional activity. So here it goes. And that would be all for this video lesson. Thank you so much for listening. Grade 11 from Siriaco Abbas Memorial National High School. Once again, this is Sir Marlo Gerson B. Martin. Our subject is reading and writing skills with the topic of determining textual evidence.